Namaste, namaste.
This is the 7th session of Aikyamatiya Suktam with Swamiji. I welcome everyone here. Please indicate on the chat if anyone has any questions for Swamiji after the class is over. Last week, due to connectivity issues, both the audio and the video were not very clear. So could Swamiji kindly take the last shloka once again for us? One more thing, I would really appreciate if people can keep the videos on as well, because it's much better for the person talking especially. So if we are also seen on the screen. We will now begin our class this morning with Yogacharya Venudas ji chanting Aikyamatiya Suktam. Venudas ji.
Namaste, Swamiji. Om Samidyuvase Vrishannakne Vishwan Arya Ilaspade Samidhyase Tano Vasunya Bhara Sangachadhvam Samvadadhvam Samvo Manam Sijanatam Deva Bhagam Yadha Purve Sanjanana Upasate Samano Mandras Samiti Samani Samanam Manasahachittamesham Samanam Mandramabhimandraye Vasamanena vo Havisha Juhomi Samani Vaaku Samana Hridayani Vaha Samanamastu vo Mano Yadha Vastu Sahasati Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam. In this Sangha, we are studying Aikyamatiya Sukta or Samvada Sukta. Its another name is Samana Sukta. This is the last Suktam in the Rigveda Samhita. That is in a Samhita consisting of 10,552 mantras. Consisting of many Devata stutis. And so many subtle darshanic thoughts. After all this, What is the message Rishis are giving to the world, to humanity at large? That message is conveyed here. And it is a message of unity, a message of togetherness in all words, in all deeds. And it exhorts for knowing the heart of each other. Sangachadhvam, samvadadhvam, samvo manamsi janata. And it is to follow the tradition, followed by our ancestors, to follow the worship pattern, how they did, and realize the inner spirit of such traditions. That is, Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate. Then let your thoughts or let your convictions be the same or similar. And your heart, that togetherness be there. And even your subconscious level must be united together. That even the thoughts which are coming from within, let them have that sameness or unity. And that unity prevail in all aspects of our life, social life, national life. And the greatest message was, in matters which are auspicious, you must be together. That unity must be there. And along with that, when situations are turning bad, when many negative aspects are there in the society, the world, even then, that togetherness must be there. That is the greatest message here. Not only in times of pleasure, but in the times of pain, then also we must be together. That is asati susaha. You people be together even in situations which we can call asat situations. So that is the greatest message given here. The nation is passing through many hurdles. The whole world is facing a strange and painful situation, which we can call hitherto unseen. So in such situations, the whole society must come together. The whole society must be united. So that is the message here. So we have seen all the 4 mantras in the sukta. And actually, we were to conclude the Aigamakta Sukta. But then we thought there are only 2 more mantras in the Rigveda Samhita. That is, even after the last sukta, Samvada Sukta, there are two more mantras. And these mantras we can call Upasamhara Sukta. There is no special name attributed to those two mantras, but we can call Upasamhara Sukta because it is the Upasamhara part. And there are two mantras in that. Actually, in our last sitting, we started discussing that. That is the first mantra. But there were so many network problems. So neither the video nor the audio did work well. So this time we can start that once again. And that mantra is, there are two mantras in the Upasamhara Sukta. There the Rishi is Barhaspatya Shamyuhu. That is, Rishi is Shanyuhu. Rishi's name Shanyuhu. And he is Barhaspatyaha. That is, he is one in the lineage of Brihaspati. One who is coming in the lineage of Brihaspati. He is Barhaspatyaha. And his name is Shanyuhu. Shanyuhu. And the chandas, the meter is Shakwari Chandaha. And here what is special in the case of Devata is, in this mantra there is no one particular Devata. As in the earlier suktas. In almost all the earlier suktas, there were one or two or three Devatas. Mainly one Devata. There will be one Devata for one sukta. But in some suktas, there are more than one Devata. But here in this sukta, Devata is Devaha Devata. All the Devas. All the Devas are Devata here. That means right from Agni, we started Rigveda. And in between, so many Devatas were praised. So many Devatas were prayed for. The first and last were definitely Agni. First sukta was in the name of Agni. And here last sukta also, it was Agni. So beginning from Agni, Rigveda ended with Agni. And this Upasamhara Sukta, there are many Devatas, that is almost all Devatas who were praised in the previous parts, have to be remembered here. So Devaha, Devata. So all the Devatas together, we are considering as one Devata. That multitude of Devatas, we are considering as one Devata. So Devaha Devata. And what is the Sukta? See? Tachanyo Ravrine Mahe Gatum Yaknyaya Gatum Yaknyapataye Daivi Swastirastu Naha Swastir Manushebhyaha Urdhvan Jigadu Bheshajam Shanno Astu Dipade Shanchatushpade Tachanyoravrine Mahe Gatum Yaknyaya Gatum Yaknyapataye दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजम् शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शञ्चतुष्पदे Om. This is the first mantra. And the second mantra is Namo Brahmane, Namo Astwagnaye, Nama Prithivye, Nama Oshadhibhyaha, Namo Vache, Namo Vachaspataye, Namo Vishnave Mahate Karomi. Om. Namo Brahmane, Namo Astvagnaye, Nama Prithivye, Nama Oshadhibhyaha, Namo Vache, Namo Vajaspataye, Namo Vishnave Mahate Karomi. Om. Tad Sham Yaha Avrinemahe. Avrinemahe Sham. And that Sham is described here as Tad, that Sham. We are praying for that Sham. We are accepting that. Yajnaya Gatum. Yajnaya means for the Yajna. And that it is also said the Yajna Pataye. For the Yajna Pati also. Daivi Swastihi Astu. Let that auspiciousness come. Which auspiciousness? Daivi. That means the divine auspiciousness. Let it come for us. Or let all the devatas have that auspiciousness. Swastihi manushebhyaha. For all human beings, that is all the humanity. Manushebhyaha. Let there be swasti. Swasti means well-being. Let there be well-being for the whole of human beings. Urdhvam jigadu bheshajam. Urdhvam jigadu bheshajam. Urdhvam jigadu. Let it come up. Let it manifest up. What? The bheshajam. The ultimate medicine. That is Amritam. Let Amritam Urdhvam jigadu. Udgachadu. Let it manifest up. Shanno astu dipade. Sham chatushpade. Sham naha astu. Naha. For us. Let there be well-being or auspiciousness. And for dipade, for all two-legged beings, there be Sham. Chadushpade, for all four-legged beings, let there be Sham. Om. And after praying this, all the Devatas are prostrated. Namo Brahmane. Let my prostrations reach the Brahman, Paramatman, or Brahma, or Veda. All these meanings we can take. Namo astu Agnaye. Unto the Agni, my namaskaras. I am prostrating before Agni. Nama Prithivya. And this Prithvi, this earth, where we are living together, which is our abode, I am prostrating. Namaha. Nama Oshadhibhyaha. I am prostrating before all plants, all the plants in this universe. Namo Vache. Let my prostrations be with the Vak. Vak is Vedam. Vak is Saraswati. Vak is, we can say, speech. Then Vachaspataye Namaha. Vachaspati, who is the master of words, that is a scholar, to the man of knowledge, to the scholar, I am prostrating. Or Vachaspati, he is the husband of Saraswati, that is Brahma. I am prostrating before Brahma. And all scholars, I am prostrating. Namo Vishnave Mahate. I am prostrating that great Vishnu who is all pervading. And there is a Karomi that we have to add with all Namaha. Namaha Karomi Brahmane, Namaha Karomi Agnaye, like that. We have to add that Karomi with all. Om with Onkara, with Pranava, Rigveda is concluded. So these are the two mantras. Here, in another way also, we can understand the meaning of the first mantra. That is, Tat Chamyoho Avranimahe. Instead of breaking that Sham and Yoho, we have to take it together and Shamyoho. That is, we are praying for that emancipation. And who is this we? Shamyuhu. The name of the Rishi is Shamyuhu. So this is the prayer, or this is a revelation of Shamyuhu. So Shamyoho means of Shamyuhu. Shamyoho means of Shamyuhu. Shamyuhu is the Rishi here. Barhaspatyaha Shamyuhu. So in that way also we can understand this mantra. Now let us explain. Tat Sham Yoho. First we are breaking that to Sham and Yoho. That Sham. Sham is happiness. Sham is bliss. The ultimate happiness. That is bliss. Absolute happiness. That is which is not related with the things or objects of the world. That which is not coming and going. That ultimate happiness is called bliss. And the meaning of Sham is that bliss. When we say Shankaraha, it means one who is making that happiness, making that bliss. Or Shambhu, one who is giving that Sham. That is Shambhu. Is there disturbances? So many sounds are coming from outside. Are you hearing me?
Yes, Swamiji, we can hear you.
So many disturbances are there. Or we can wait for 1 or 1.5 minutes. Let us see whether they will go.
Okay.
But Swamiji,
There isn't much disturbance, Swamiji.
no disturbance.
Yes, now it's all right. They are gone. So Sham means bliss. That is the Ananda. That is absolute happiness. That inner happiness, which is never coming from contacts with any objects. It is not related to any objects of the world. That happiness, that is the bliss, ultimate bliss. So we are praying for that. Sham. Avranimahe. Vruvarane. Vru means varane. That is to accept. So here Avranimahe, we have to understand as we are praying for. We are praying for that. That Ananda. Not simple Ananda. That Ananda, when it is described as that. And remember, this is the last Upasamhara Sukta. So in the previous parts, in many places, that ultimate bliss was referred. And we have to remember that. That is, which is not at all limited. The unlimited bliss, which was described earlier in many occasions. Let that Ananda, for which all the beings are searching, let that Ananda be bestowed. We are praying for that. So this is the goal of human life. This is the goal of human life. And Gatum yajnaya avrinemahe. Gatum yajnaya. Yajna is auspicious karma. Yajna is that karma where we are offering something, whatever it be, to different devatas. And broadly speaking, all the karma where such offering is there, we can call it as a yajna. So all the service activities we are doing in this world, we can call yajna. Where offering is there, where we are surrendering our own ego, it is yajna. In all the offerings that in Vedic rituals, along with that offering mantra, it will be added namama, namama. This is not for me. This is not for me. So a feeling of it is a sort of surrendering. It is not simple offering. Along with that, that inner surrender is there. Where it is there, it is yajna. And there is a mantra which says yajno vai Vishnuhu. That means yajna is Vishnu himself. That is the Ishvara. There is no difference between yajna and Ishvara. Yajnas or karmas to propitiate Ishvara. No, it is the very form of Ishvara. Yajna is the very embodiment of Ishvara. Yajna is Ishvara manifested. So yajna vai Vishnu. So gatum yajnaya. One meaning is gatum, to praise for the yajna, for the Vishnu. That blessing we are asking for, avrinemahe, by which we can praise, we can worship Vishnu. Or another meaning is gatum. In the Vedic sense, we can take it as gantum in the worldly sense. That is for the yajna, those who are performing the yajna, we are praying a path for them. Path which will lead them to the highest goal of this human life that we are praying for. The same is prayed for Yajnapataye also. Yajnapati is the master of yajna, that is Yajamana. One who is arranging the yajna, one who is performing the yajna, for whom a yajna is performed, he is a Yajamana, he is Yajnapati. So for the Yajnapati also we are praying for what? For the path to reach his goal. Another meaning is Yajnapati is Ishvara himself, and we are praying to the Yajnapati, Ishvara, for that ultimate bliss, the ultimate absolute happiness. And Daivi Swastirastu Naha. Naha for us and for you people, for all. That means for all. Daivi Swastihi Astu. The well-being that is coming from Devatas. See, Our well-being in this world is dependent on many factors. Our effort is there, and the theory of karma that works. What we are doing, so we will get. All these are there, but still there are some factors which we cannot perceive. That is non-palpable. There are many such factors are there. And if we observe the phenomena in this universe, we will see behind each and every phenomenon there is some inscrutable law or principle working. So that is Devata. So Daivi means from the Devata or connected with the Devata. So that well-being or that auspiciousness come from all the Devatas. Daivi swastirastu naha. For you let there be happiness and auspiciousness which is coming from all the Devatas. See, we are living in this world depending on many Devatas. We are depending on fire, we are depending on air, we are depending on water, we are depending on earth. Many, many. Crores and crores of Devatas are there. And all these Devatas are influencing us. So from them all, let there be well-being and auspiciousness. Devi swastirastu naha. Swastihi manushebhyaha. There are two meanings. One, let there be swasti, well-being and happiness for you from all the human beings. Manushebhyaha. Then that manushebhyaha we have to take in the fifth case, as a fifth case. That is from the whole humanity. Let happiness and well-being come to you. Another meaning is for all humanity, for all the humanity, let there be happiness and well-being. Then that manushebhyaha will be the fourth case. So we can take in two cases, one as a fourth vibhakti and as fifth vibhakti. So when it is fifth vibhakti, it would mean let you people have happiness and well-being from the whole humanity. Let no human being attack you. Let no human being give you pain. Let you be protected from all human beings. Or another meaning is let all human beings have that happiness, that well-being. Let them be blessed. Swastir manushebhyaha. Urdham jigadu bheshajam. Urdham jigadu. Udgachadu. Let it manifest upward. What is hidden? See, what we are getting, all are there. Nothing is coming as new. What we are making, they are here. But forms are different. When we are saying we are making something, actually we are reforming it. We are remaking it. We are joining some substances. And as a natural effect, some action-reaction chain will go. And we are saying we are making things afresh. Actually, what we are making, all these are here in this universe. Some combinations we are making. We are taking one thing from there and we are taking one thing from here and joining together, and we are saying, I had made this thing. Actually, all are here. But we want them manifested for the benefit of humanity. For example, when we are suffering from the pandemic, the whole world is suffering, that we know. And what is the prayer? The prayer of the humanity is, let there be something which will take us above this pain. But that something, it differs. Some are praying for vaccine, some are praying for some medicine which will cure forever. So it may vary, but it must manifest. It is already there. When a problem is made, solution also is made together. If there is no solution, we will not call it as a problem. But we are not seeing that solution. And great men of knowledge are searching for that. And they will find out a solution which was already there. So what is happening is a sort of manifestation. So that bheshajam, that medicine, urdham jigadu, udgachadu, let it manifest. It is there. It is there. When a virus is coming, antivirus is there. It is already there. But we have to find it out. So udgachadu, let it manifest. Urdham jigadu bheshajam. From the state of what we can call veiled, let it come out. And let it work for the benefit of all humanity. Urdham jigadu bheshajam. Shanno astu dipade. Shanno astu. Let that sham, well-being or spaciousness, be for us all, be for you all. Dipade sham, sham dipade. Let that bliss be there for all the two-legged beings. Human beings, then all birds. Birds are two-legged. For all these two-legged beings. And for all chatushpade, or the four-legged beings. So when we say two-legged and four-legged together, it means for all. For eight-legged beings, for six-legged beings, and for thousand-legged beings. For all beings, let there be happiness. Let well-being be there for all. So this is the first mantra in the Upasamhara Sukta. And the second mantra is Namo Brahmane. Namo Brahmane. Brahman means Paramatma. So I am prostrating. Let prostrations be unto the Paramatma. Or another meaning of Brahma is Brahma, who is responsible for all creations in this universe. So, Namo Brahmane. Or another meaning of Brahman is Veda, knowledge. So, prostrations to the Veda. Namo astu agnaye. Astu, let there be. Namaha, prostrations. Agnaye, unto fire, unto the Agni. Agni is one who is leading, one who is leading us. Agre nayati the Agni. So leader of the whole humanity. He is Agni. Or one who is taking all the offerings we are giving in the name of different devatas. One who is taking those offerings to those devatas is called Agni. So Namaha astu Agnaye. We are prostrating that Agni who is distributing all our offerings to different devatas. Nama Prithivyai. Let my prostrations be with this Prithivi. Prithivi is this earth where we are living, which is our abode. I am worshipping this Prithivi. I am prostrating this Prithivi. See, this is the attitude we must have with it. This Prithivi, this earth, is protecting us. It is giving a place to live here. It's everything for us. So it is our duty to protect the Prithivi also. Mother is protecting the child, and it is the duty and responsibility of the child to protect the mother in turn. Both must happen. So this Prithivi is making me live. So it is my duty to protect this Prithivi also. So when we are prostrating this Prithivi, then we cannot exploit this Prithivi. We cannot exploit. In our classrooms, especially in school level classrooms, we are learning. We can have all wealth by exploiting this Prithivi. So we are exploiting. And we are digging the graveyard of ourselves and of this mother Prithivi. So we must teach our children. No, we cannot exploit. We cannot exploit because this mother is helping us live here. This mother is giving a place to live. Because of this mother, we are here. So such a question as exploitation doesn't come. Just as a mother feeding the child with her breast milk, the mother is feeding us. It is not exploitation. The child is getting nutrition. Child is getting life itself. and the mother is getting that happiness and inner ecstasy. Both this must be there. That is our concept. So there is no such a question as exploitation. So here we are prostrating before this Mother Earth. Namo Prithiviyai. Nama Oshadhibhya. All the plant kingdom, the flora around us, we are prostrating. We are taking the seeds they are giving. We are accepting the boons they are giving. And we are praying for them also. This is a mutual relation. It is helping and we are helping. This mutual relation must be there. When it is becoming one-sided, it is exploitation. See? So we are praying for the whole plant kingdom. We are prostrating the plant kingdom. Nama Oshadhibhyaha. Nama Oshadhibhyaha. With their blessings, we are living here. Even a tip of grass, even a leaf of a tree, they are blessing us. And because of their blessing, we are living here. So I am recognizing that. And with that recognition, I am prostrating. Prostrations unto the plant kingdom. Nama Oshadhibhyaha. Namo Vache. The greatest ability we have is the ability to speak, the power of speech. Of course, all the beings are communicating. All creatures in this universe have their skill to communicate. So practically they also have language, but still it is much sophisticated and developed in our case. So we are prostrating before the power of speech. So Namaha Vache. And of course, Vak means Veda. So we are prostrating the Vedas. Namo Vishnave Mahate. Namo Vishnave. Prostrations unto Vishnu, who is all pervading. The very meaning of Vishnu itself is all pervading one. Deveshti Sarvamiti Vishnu. Vishanad Vishnu. Vishanad, one who is entering into all the beings, is Vishnu. Or one who is all pervading. Deveshti Sarvamiti Vishnu. I am prostrating before Vishnu. And there is it is said, Mahate, that is great, the greatest Vishnu. Let our prostrations be before him. Om. With Pranava, Rigveda Samhita is concluded. We are not going to explain the Pranava. Many times we have seen its meaning and explanation. So now we are not going to that. So however, with this Namaha, Rigveda is concluded. So remember these two mantras. It will give a clear idea regarding how to live in this world. How to live in this world. How to connect with other beings and the very nature itself. What should be the attitude we must keep within while living in this world. So all these things are explained there. So these are the two mantras of the Upasamhara Sukta. So with this, we can conclude this Aigamatya Sukta Vyakhyana. Now whatever doubts or questions you have, you can ask. And we can, of course, continue this session. But I think after the next Saturday, we can continue. Next Saturday, we can take an off. And from the next, that is today, it is 30th. So after 1 week, we can start our next, whatever be the subject, we can start it. Now, if you want to ask any question or doubts, you can ask.
First question, namaste. First question is from Sri Venudas ji.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Swamiji, I have two questions, please. Atmalabhat paro labho nasti. It's coming from where and what would you please define it? And the second question, what's the difference between Shishya and Andaranga Shishya? Swamiji, two questions.
It is a famous saying, Atma labhat paro labho nasti. There is no higher gain than the Atma labha. Atma labha is gaining the Atma or getting the Atma. So there is no higher gain than getting our own self. The meaning is very clear. If we are getting the whole universe as our own, and we are not knowing who we are, there is no meaning in that. So knowing the self, getting the self means knowing the self. Because it is not something else to get from outside. So knowing and getting are one and the same thing here. That is the greatest gain we can have in this birth. This is that saying. The question is, where does it come? Many acharyas are using that. Many acharyas. I'm not sure whether Shankaracharya has used that in one prakarana. But now I am remembering Sureshwaracharya begins his Manasollasa Vartika with this shloka. Sureshwaracharya is known as the Vartikakara. That is, when Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankaracharya wrote exhaustive bhashyas to Vedanta, his disciple Sureshwaracharya wrote detailed Vartika. Vartika means a commentary in the form of poem. Commentary in the form of poem. That is Vartika. Detailed Vartika to all the Upanishads and Bhashyas. That is his greatness. And after writing these Vartikas, important Vartikas are for Taittiriya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And for the Dakshinamurti Stotram also, he wrote Vartikam. And that Vartikam is called Manasollasa Vartikam. That is the Vartikam written by Sureshwaracharya for Dakshinamurti Stotram is called Manasollasa Vartikam. And it begins with this. Atma labhat paro labho nasti kavayo viduhu tallabhartham kavistauti swatmanam prabhumishwaram. That is the first shloka of Manasollasa Vartika. That means there is no other gain higher than the knowledge of the self. Tallabhartham, for that gain, kavihi. Kavihi is the rishi, or kavi is the poet. Kavi is the author. Kavi is one who can see things of the future. There are so many meanings for the kavi. So kavi is stauti, praising. Whom? Atmanam, the self. Who is that self? Ishwaram. Ishwara. And he is the Prabhu of all. He is the controller of all, everything. That Atma, the Kavi is praising. And that piece of praising is Dakshinamurti Stotram. And I am going to write a commentary on that. That is the first shloka of Manasollasa Vartika. One who is competent enough to be taught, he is a Shishya. One who have that patratva, that eligibility, he is a Shishya. And when one guru is accepting somebody as a Shishya, he is called a Shishya. That's a disciple who can be instructed, or one who can get that teaching from a guru, who have that competence to get that teaching. That means one who have that patratva within, space. We must have a space within. If it is full with preconceived notions or arrogance, nothing can enter. Even we are approaching the greatest teacher, Shankaracharya himself. If there is no space, how he can teach us? Huh? So Shishya is one with patratva. One with that patratva is a Shishya. If he is full with preconceived notions, I know this, I know that, this is that, then he need not go to a guru. If he is filled with arrogance, no guru can teach him. So he must have that capability, that capacity to get that teaching. He is a Shishya. And there will be so many Shishyas. And when a teacher-student relationship is there, when a guru-shishya sambandha is there, naturally the teaching will happen, not only through words, not only in given times, from this time to that time, half an hour daily. No, always that teaching will happen. And when Shishya have that patritva, he will get, he will digest, he will assimilate. So that will happen. And when it is happening, all these are in the transactional plane. Both Guru and Shishya, both are in the transactional plane. So when the teaching is happening, then Guru will see this Shishya is realizing or understanding what I am giving. And the Shishya will realize Guru is giving for what I am thirsting for, I am searching for. So he is fulfilling my quest. And he is accepting what I am giving. When this knowledge is there within two parties, that relation will become more and more strong. And slowly, that differentiation itself will go. A sort of oneness will come. Then, it is then only the Shishya is becoming an Antaranga Shishya. So that is through mutual understanding. It is a natural phenomenon. We can see in the life of great teachers, lives of great teachers. There were many Shishyas and there were a few Antaranga Shishyas. Whichever Guru you take, it is not that he is not considering other Shishya, but the fact is, those Antaranga Shishyas are realizing who the Guru is. From that realization, a state of oneness will develop. That is the answer. I think it is clear.
Namaste, Babaji. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Next question is from Dr. Kamalaji.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
I just want to tell you before starting my question, we have 3 topics we have chosen for the next class. One is the summary of the Bhagavad Gita chapter by chapter, so that we'll be able to connect it and we'll get a message and each shatkam what it says. We will have an idea for that. That's the purpose we have chosen that topic. And if that is the second is one of the Upanishad, and Kaivalya, we thought it will be nice to hear. And the third one is Sri Bhagavad Pada's Sopana Panchakam or Sadhana Panchakam. So these are the 3, but we prefer to hear the summary of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, we can do, but it will be a long topic. It will take many months to finish that. Even then, we will not finish. That we can decide,
Yeah.
of course.
So the Swamiji says we are ready.
Yeah.
Swamiji can choose the
Yeah.
topic out of these three. Yeah. Then coming back to my question is about the self-effort and the prayatnam and the vidhi. So how do we understand which one is more powerful, or how do we take it? That is it.
When we go to our Dharma Shastras, not Vedanta, Dharma Shastras, and of course, such Bhakti Shastras as Puranas and all, and in Itihasas, especially Mahabharata, everywhere in these scriptures we will see these two ideas. And from these two ideas started a quarrel, or we can say difference of opinions. Some are for and some are against. Some says everything happens in your life happens as an effect of destiny. What is destined, that you have to accept. That is vidhi. Nobody can escape that vidhi. Vidhi is prefixed. And you have to accept. There is no other way. So, submit to that. And there is no meaning in your effort. You have to accept what is destined. This is one part. And the other part is, no, it is not so. What you are getting is what you are doing. As an effect or as a result of your activities, you are getting the results. What you are sowing now, that you can reap tomorrow. So you are getting everything as the effect of your own actions. That is Purusha Prayatnam. So these two vadas are there, fighting against each other. It is continuing and it will continue. But actually, there is no scope for this quarrel. Because when we try to understand what is meant by destiny and how efforts are giving you result, if we are trying to understand this, then we will realize there is no difference at all. Both are one and the same. See, what we are doing now with our thoughts, with our words, with our deeds, there is no doubt they will have result. They will have result. For each and every karma, there is result. If action is there, reaction must come. If we are doing something, the result must come. For each and every cause, there will be or there must be effect. So karma bhala, we have to accept. And this karma bhala, we are accepting, we are getting. And the effect of our previous karmas, that is which we had performed or done in our earlier births, and the result are yet to come. Those results will come. There is no doubt in that. We have to accept. There is no escape from that. And that karma, which are yet to come or which are coming as the effect of our previous karma, is called Daivam. That is Daivam. So we must get or we must accept the Daivam. And this is called destiny, Vidhi. This is called the Vidhi. So Vidhi is there. Daivam is there. Nobody can negate that. Daivam is there. But what is Daivam? Daivam is the effect of our own previous karma. So what we are getting today is the some effect of our previous actions. And therefore, what we will get tomorrow is the effect of our past karma plus our present karma. So nobody to, or we cannot pinpoint anybody for our own life here. What we are getting today are the effect of our own previous karma. So we cannot blame anybody for our own karmas. So we will take the responsibility in our own shoulders. So what we are doing today, that will be the future of ourselves. If we understand in this line, there is no contradiction. Both are same. So Daiva or Vidhi and Purusha Prayatna, both are same. There is no need for quarreling. This is the answer. But without understanding this, that quarrel is going on, and it will go forever. But we must not be a party in that quarrel. We must think what we are getting is the result of or the effect of our own karma, and nothing is undue here. Nothing is undue here. So accept what is coming with full heart and don't blame anybody else. This is the effect of my own karma, and so I have to shoulder it. I have to shoulder it. It is my duty to shoulder it. That will be a bold life in this world. So understand in this stretch. Namaste.
Namaste, Swamiji. There are no more questions. So today, so we can conclude 5 minutes early. So next Saturday, that is 6th February, will be a break, and we will resume on 13th February, Saturday.
Yes. Now we can conclude. Namaste. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryangaravavahai Tejasvinavadhidamastu Ma Vidushavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.